Arcs are segments of a circle and can be created in much the same way. Arcs do need more information than a circle because you need to define where the beginning and ending points are in addition to the center location and radius. Let's take a look. Up here on the sketch toolbar, we can see we have a arc tool, and we've got 3 different types of arcs we can use. We can use the center point, the tangent, or the 3-point arc. So let's go ahead and start with the center point arc. And that one's pretty simple. So just click wherever you want the center point to be. In this case, I'll choose the origin. And draw out where your radius wants to be, so you can define that right now. Click OK, and then you can define how much of that circle you'd actually like to draw. So it's pretty handy to determine that length. You can go one direction or the other direction, and when you're happy with the angle, go ahead and click on the left mouse button to finish that arc segment. Now, if you want to define that a little further, what you can do is use some center lines, go from the origin to the 2 endpoints. What you can do is you can either define the angle. In this case here, I've got a vertical line and a horizontal line. But if you didn't want to use that, you could delete the horizontal line, and maybe you could adjust that angle of the arc using that. In fact, you can even add maybe another center line here and give it an angle between the two, maybe 30.0. And I'll define that size. And then you can give it a radius. We'll say 1.5. And that fully defines that arc in space. Next is a tangent arc. So tangent arc needs to have some line segment to start from to be tangent to. So in this case here, I have this nice line here. I'll start right at the end point, and I'll draw out an arc. So notice it sticks to the cursor, and I can drag that around, and it gives me both the angle as well as the radius. And I can actually bring that all the way around and snap to another endpoint to finish out that arc. Then I can move this other line around if I need to, or I can adjust the arc. If I want to make this arc and this line tangent as well, I can click on the arc, hold on Control, choose the line, and then choose tangent. Now, they all work as a team, and you've got 2 lines that are tangent to an arc. If I look up here under a 3-point arc, 3-point arc is great for creating maybe fills between these 2 circles. So I'll click on one of them, click on the other one, and then I can drag out the arc to look about appropriate. But notice these are not tangent, so then I can always go back, hold on Control, select the 2 entities, and say Make Tangent, and do the same thing over here, Make Tangent. Then I've got 2 arcs that automatically move around the radius, and I can control the arc between the 2 circles. Really handy way to do that. In fact, I can do the same thing down here, and then I can trim away this inside arcs to make a different type of shape. A lot of different things we can do to work with these arcs. Here's another example. If I choose the 3-point arc again, I can start from one line segment, I can drop it down to the ending point of the other, and I can drag out the radius of that circle. Click where you're happy, and then if you have maybe the center point of that circle that you'd like to maybe make coincident with this point here, I can choose both those points, and I can say, let's go ahead and merge those points together. I could do the same thing with the tangent arc. Go back up here to tangent arc, start from this point here, and just bring it all the way around to this point here, and it automatically adds the tangency between the 2 different lines. So a really handy way to do that. The last thing I want to point out is if you're using the line command, make a straight line segment and click. If I go forward and actually make another line, it'll just continue making straight lines. However, one little sneaky trick behind the scenes is if you actually go back on top of the original line, when you come back out, it actually turns it into a tangency arc. Makes it a really quick way to design things using straight lines and tangent arc segments. So you can click, and then it turns right back into the line tool. Or again, if you go back onto that arc, you come back out, and you can, again, make another tangent arc to it. It's a really handy way. And keep in mind, if you do that, starting with a line, whichever way you come out of that line, if you come back on it, then you come back out on a corner, it'll be tangent in that direction. So make sure you're coming off that endpoint in the direction of tangency you'd like to use. Arcs are helpful for creating smooth flowing shapes and appealing aesthetics. They're just segments of a circle, and sometimes starting with a circle is a good way to define the location for complex arcs.